Today we are going to discuss the Nicholson coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. Now we're going to go through about 30 of these coats of arms for the Nicholson family, spelled with a C, and a Nicholson family spelled with a CH. The first coat of arms shown here belonged to the Nicholson baronets of that ilk and of Lasswade in the County of Midlothian, Scotland, created in the Baronetage of Nova Scotia in 1629 for Sir John Nicolson, son of John Nicolson, born 1578, and the grandson of James Nicolson, the first of Lasswade and Lochend, and great-grandson of David Nicolson, who died around the year 1543. Now, a baronetcy was essentially a hereditary knighthood that passed from father to son. Here we see a list of the Nicholson baronets, all the way through the, looks like 13th baronet, who passed away in 2008. Similar coat of arms, Nicholson of Cluny, afterwards of Kemnay in Aberdeen, and of Glenbervie in Kincardine. The Nicholson baronetcy of Glenbervie in the county of Kincardine was created in the Baronetage of Nova Scotia in 1700 for Sir Thomas Nicolson of Kemnay, son of Sir George Nicholson of Cluny, afterwards of Kemnay, a judge and senator of the College of Justice, grandson of Thomas Nicolson of Pitmedden and Cluny, a merchant, and the great-grandson of George Nicholson, born around the year 1555, provost of Aberdeen, who is a descendant of William Nicholson, a burgess of Aberdeen. Here we see a list of the baronets of Glenbervie, all the way through the 5th baronet, who died in 1839. Here we see one of the family estates, which would be either, looks like Glenervie, or one of their other houses, Cluny, perhaps, or Kemnay. I think this is Kemnay House, and then this one is one of the other ones, or vice versa. Next we have the arms of the Nicholson baronets of Carnock, and also of Tillicoultry. Sir Thomas Nicolson was created a baronet in the Baronetage of Nova Scotia in 1636. He was a Scottish lawyer, landowner, postmaster, and commissioner for Stirlingshire, son of John Nicolson of Lasswade, grandson of James Nicolson of Lasswade and Lochend, and the great-grandson of David Nicolson. He was succeeded by his son, Thomas, the 2nd baronet, who we see here. And he also had a second son, Sir John Nicolson of Tillicoultry, born 1629. Here we see a list of the baronets of Carnock, all the way through the 11th baronet, who died in 1928. Here we see an old photograph of Carnock House, as well as an oil painting of Carnock House. Nicolson of Cockburn's Path, or Coldbrandspeth, spelled many different ways, in County Berwickshire. The Nicholson baronetcy of Cockburn's Path in Berwickshire was created in the Baronetage of Nova Scotia in 1625 for Sir James Nicholas, son of Thomas Nicholas of the same location, who was commissary of Aberdeen, and the grandson of John Nicolson, the first of Lasswade, who was commissary of Edinburgh. And he also had a brother named Sir Thomas Nicolson, who was Lord Advocate and died in 1656. Coat of arms confirmed to Harvey Nicholson, Esquire, who died in 1865 of Roe Park in Londonderry, Northern Ireland, son of John Nicolson, who was mayor and alderman of that town. Here we see a Roe Park house. Next, the coat of arms of Lieutenant General Robert Nicholson, born 1748, a British military officer who briefly commanded forces in Bombay, India in 1800, in the service of the British East India Company, son of Alexander Nicholson and Mary Murray, It was also borne by the Nicholsons of Ufford in Bury in County Suffolk. Here we see an old painting of General Robert Nicholson. And the general's nephew, Alexander born McInnes, changed his name to Nicholson out of respect for the memory of his late uncle. He was of East Court, Charlton Kings, and of Ufford and Co. Suffolk. Next we have a shield that's purple wavy with 6 martlets. Wasn't able to find this one, but there are several possibilities. James Nicolson was a bishop of Dunkeld. John Nicolson was a member of Parliament for Great Yarmouth. William Nicholson died in 1809, gentleman of the Isle of Man, and Nicholson of Portree, Isle of Skye, Scotland. Here we have ermine on a pale sable, 3 martlets argent, sometimes or. The arms of Sir Humphrey Nicholson, a merchant of Mile End Green, County Middlesex, knighted 1680, who was the son of Francis Nicholson and the great-grandson of Gilbert Nicholson of Beare. He was also borne by one Robert Nicholson of St. Mary Abchurch, a merchant, and John Hampden Nicholson of Balrathbury, born 1871, High Sheriff of County Meath, son of Christopher, grandson of John, and a descendant of Gilbert Nicholson, born 1620, of Poulton, County Lancashire, who went to the city of Dublin and was son of Humphrey Nicholson. Here we see, I believe, Balrath House in Ireland. And here we have one that has a different crest, a pelican in her piety, from Dublin, Ireland. I wasn't able to find this one either, but some possibilities include John Nicolson, 1821. He was an army officer in India, eldest son of Dr. Alexander Nicholson, a physician of Straymore House in County Down. And there's also William Nicholson, Bishop of Derry. Next, a coat of arms granted in 1588 to Robert Nicholson of London. Quarterly coat of arms, and I have a note here that it was also borne by Benjamin Nicholson of Bromley in County Surrey. Coat of arms granted in 1535 to William Nicholson of Lincolnshire. Similar coat of arms for George Nicolson of Twickenham, County Middlesex. Coat of arms of Lieutenant General Francis Nicholson, granted 1693. He was a British general and colonial officer who was governor of South Carolina, governor of Nova Scotia, governor of Virginia, governor of Maryland, and lieutenant governor of Virginia. And here we see Francis Nicholson. Coat of arms exemplified to James Custis, who died in 1861, of Glasnevin Lodge in Dublin. He was a surgeon and the son of Reverend Edmund Custis. And it looks like whose wife was Elizabeth, sister and heir of James Nicolson, Esquire of Iceford in County Sligo, Ireland. And he assumed the additional name, or replaced his name of Custis with the surname and arms of Nicholson. One from Lancashire, Cumberland, and London was granted in 1596 to Thomas Nicolson, examiner of the Chancery, son of William Nicholson of Lancaster, grandson of Nicholas Nicholson of Cumberland. And the arms was also confirmed to his son, Otis Nicholson of London, also examiner in the Court of the Chancery, and it was also borne by one Francis Nicholson of Chapel in County Essex. For Cumberland and Lancashire, William Otho Nicholson Shaw, born 1846, was a major in the Earl of Chester's Yeomanry Cavalry, a justice of the peace of the County of Chester, second son of John Ralph Nicholson, born 1811, who assumed the surname of Shaw by royal license in 1837 and was the grandson of William Nicholson, born 1744. Also, the arms of Nicholson of Ipswich, confirmed in the year 1596. Nicholson of Thelwall Hall in Cheshire. The estate was bequeathed to the Nicholson family upon the death of Thomas Pickering in 1837. It was lived in by two brothers, William Nicholson and James Nicolson, in the 19th century. They were Warrington solicitors, sons of Captain Peter Nicholson, an attorney, and grandsons of James Nicolson, attorney and captain lieutenant in the Warrington Volunteers, and the great-grandson of Benjamin Nicholas, Esquire of Poulton, who died in 1781. Here we see William and his father Peter, and Peter's father James, and James's father Benjamin, as well as Thelwall Hall. One from Waverley Abbey in County Surrey. The estate was purchased by George Thomas Nicolson, a graduate of Trinity College, Cambridge, and a barrister, son of Samuel Nicholson, born 1738, a London wholesaler, haberdasher, and founding partner of the Glasgow Bank, grandson of George Nicolson and great-grandson of George Nicolson, born 1639, of Kirkoswald, Cumberland, a minister. And here we see Waverley Abbey. Coat of arms of Stephen Nicholson of Roundhay Park, County Yorkshire, born 1799. His half-brother, Thomas Nicolson, acquired the Roundhay estate, and he was the son of William Nicholson, who descended from a family from Northumberland who settled in Yorkshire around 1680. And here we see Roundhay Park. And arms granted to Reverend Patrick Charles Nicholson, Esquire of Ashton under Lyne in Lancashire, born 1809. He was vicar of Hebden Bridge. The Nicholson Baronetcy of Luddenham in New South Wales was created in the Baronetage of United Kingdom in 1859 for Sir Charles Nicholson, the first Speaker of the New South Wales Council, and his eldest son, the second Baronet, became a well-known ecclesiastical architect, and the title became extinct upon the death of the third Baronet in 1986. Here we see an oil painting of Sir Charles Nicholson. Granted to William Nicholson, born 1699, of Ballow in County Down, Northern Ireland, son of William Nicholson, and grandson of William Nicholson, born 1587, who came from Cumberland, England, to settle in Ballow, Ireland. Here we see Ballow or Ballou House. William Nicholson, alive in the year 1527, of Park of Yester in Scotland. Didn't have any more details on this man, but this looks like he was perhaps a merchant, given that this was his seal, initials on a seal, rather simple marks. And lastly, an unknown coat of arms that I wasn't able to find for Nicholson of Seal in Seven Oaks in County Kent. I believe it was borne by the ancestors of George Nicolson, alive in the year 1636, of Seal in County Kent. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, link in the description. Thank you very much.